Namaskar, Namaskaram, Vanakkam to all our viewers who are watching this program. This is something that is very, very important. Although I might be taking the example of Tamil Nadu, this EWS affects the entire country of India. To understand a little bit more about the implications, let's welcome our guest of the evening, Sri B.R. Srinivasan. He has been on our channel before, erudite. He has worked in the IT field and now he is more or less an activist, a spokesperson, a TV commentator. Without further delay, let's welcome Srinivasanji. Srinivasanji, namaskaram and welcome to P Guru's channel.
Namaskar, my pleasure, sir.
Um, the DMK never misses an opportunity to beat the Brahmins, and the 10% EWS Supreme Court verdict has given it one more way to try and do this thing. And the thing is, they know they are lying. The people know they are lying. Yet this thing somehow manages to capture the airwaves. And for 3 days, 4 days, that's all been the talk. Kind of describe to us a little bit about all the verbal diarrhea that has been put out by some of the MPs. There are some surrogate children of DMK who take great pride in doing all these things. We know who they are. We don't have to name them. Kind of walk us through what is happening. And do you think the Tamil Nadu government will be, forced to implement this? Because is it not a gross injustice to 79 categories who will benefit from this?
Yes. To start with, if you ask me, will the Tamil Nadu government implement this? The answer is no. In current form or fashion, the way the government is, the way the narrative is set, and how they see this EWS as a slap on their face, I don't think they will implement it. The only thing is that the Tamil Nadu students or folks who want to appear on at the All India level entrance exams, they'll be able to apply in the All India quota for EWS. But at the state level entrances, EWS will not be rolled out, is my hunch. And I think that's a calculated guess also, not just a hunch, it's a calculated guess, because their politics is built on this anti-Brahmin narrative for 100 years. And they will not want to be seen doing something that is portrayed as pro-Brahmin as such. Even though we all know, as you said, it's nothing to do with Brahmins alone. There are 79 castes in Tamil Nadu alone who are going to be benefited. At an all India level, the number is in hundreds actually. So, a few things are that they are at different layers. They have taken this narrative. One, they've completely blackened out the all India picture as such. So they are not at all talking in all India terms where there are so many castes. The numbers are so high at an all India level of the OC or the general category population. So they are completely blackening that out and talking about a 3% Brahmins population in Tamil Nadu. So that's the first narrative. The second narrative is that they are blatantly lying office bearers, spokespersons on social media, on television, that this 10% is going to favor only Brahmins. So that's the second narrative that they are talking about, blatantly lying. The third narrative is that they are actually indulging in contempt of court. And I was taken aback because I was in the TV debates on that day in 2 television channels, and I watched the other debates also later in the night. What they did indulge in is they were casting aspersions and questioning the motive of the judges, the composition of the bench. They were indulging in usage of words that would amount to contempt of court. They were clearly saying, when we knew that this is the composition of the bench, this is the verdict that will come. The bench has got its own color, and hence this kind of a judgment. So this is blatant contempt of court, and in prime time television debates, on almost all the channels, they were indulging in this. So, and they're getting away with it. I was shocked that nobody is taking any action. And there was a panelist also who had the gall to quote that one of the petitioners in this case against EWS, in fact, did question the composition of the bench, and the judge did not take it seriously, it seems. So that's okay, it seems. So this is the kind of narrative that they have been setting. And they are clearly they are getting the traction, or they are able to make that noise in Tamil Nadu, because in Tamil Nadu the socio-economic strata or the society is different from the rest of the country. It's different even from Kerala. It's different from Karnataka. It's different from Telangana. It's different from even Andhra. So that's why the noise is loud and they're getting away with it because, according to them, the problem that they are in is in a catch-22 situation, because before this EWS came in, when it was 50% and when it was 69%, what had happened is many of these castes that are actually supposed to be in the general category or OC or so-called forward, let's not use the term forward, OC or general category, those castes, they gradually got themselves bracketed under BC and MBC in Tamil Nadu. For example, if there's a particular caste and there are many subsects inside each caste. So one subsect is in, say, the general category. The other 2 or 3 subsects are in BC or MBC. Like that, there are many castes, like say the Naidus, the Chettiars, the Mudaliyars, the Velalars, so many castes and communities which are otherwise were supposed to be in OC. Some of the subsects are in BC and MBC. So for them, what they have been doing is, because once they get into BC and MBC, they are able to get a caste certificate, a fake caste certificate. We all know it's daylight robbery. It happens out in the open. They are able to get the caste certificate and they are able to get the reservation benefits. And hence, those communities are not really bothered about this reservation. And so who is left? The Brahmins are left. So that's the problem, the DMK. So now that they have actually got into BC and MBC, if they implement the EWS, then the community that will get actually benefited primarily will be Brahmins. And there are actually poor Brahmins, we all know, in villages, in rural areas, they are doing their traditional occupation and they do not come under the 8 lakh bracket, or they do not own their house, or they don't have acres of land. So obviously they'll get benefited. And there are other communities also who will get benefited, and they don't want this benefit to reach them because they have another agenda, which is they've been very successful in implementing in Tamil Nadu, is that cleanse the government bureaucracy of Brahmins staff. So they've been very, very successful in that over the last 100 years. So what they started as 80%, 3% Brahmins occupying 80% of government jobs in the 1920s, 100 years down the line, you hardly have a percent or 2 Brahmins in government staffs in higher bureaucracy or in judiciary in Tamil Nadu. So they do not want Brahmins to again come back, or even the other castes to come into the government bureaucracy, and hence they do not want this kind of an opportunity to open up for them. So they have been very successful in it, and these are the different layers that are there, and we can talk more about it.
Srinivasan, this is massive discrimination of one community in Tamil Nadu. And yet, if you look at the average Brahmin in Tamil Nadu, I want to get into it in a little bit of depth, because I want the viewers who don't happen to be living in or born in Tamil Nadu to understand what has really happened. You look at the community, Brahmins, right? The 3%, in my opinion, is a myth, because India stopped recording caste long time ago in their census. It is my position, it is less than 1% now. And the 1% that is there, those are all people who probably in a couple of generations, they'll themselves migrate. There is no, you don't need any, statements from this. And the reason for all this is because you look at today as an average Brahmin before the EWS came along, and even that is not going to make a difference in Tamil Nadu, but just look at them. What are the professions that they could get into? They don't have land. Many don't have. I mean, there's the number of Brahmins who have land is like laughably low, which is why they got into government service in the first place when Macaulay implemented the 1830 language reforms, where he forced the entire country to learn everything in English. So you go back, you had the rot set in there. In 1920s, the Justice Party came in, and my grandfather couldn't find a job in Chennai in 1920s. He had to go seek employment in Kerala. So this is not something that has happened today. It's a 100-year problem. But you look at today, what are the occupations available? They can become a chartered accountant, they can become a lawyer, or they can become an entrepreneur. And the same set, if you become an entrepreneur, there's a danger signal, because these people are born to hate Brahmins. The moment they look at something like this, they kind of figure out, either by talking to you, with the accent used, whatever it is. So that also is dwindling. So what is the Tamram going to do in Tamil Nadu?
See, that's what. So as I said, the last caste census that was taken was in 1931. After
Right.
that, there is no caste census that is taken, and the constitution mandates caste census to be taken only for the SC/ST population, because when the constitution came in, reservation was only there for them, and only it's after Mandal Commission that the OBCs get in reservation. So at that time, the constitution mandates only for SC/STs, and that's why for SC/STs alone, every 10 years the caste census is taken. So for everybody else, it's either one odd commission here or there in a state or at the national level that is done, and that is also not done as per Census Act of 1948. So only in the say, if you take caste census as per the Census Act of 1948, you are mandated to give your caste. Otherwise, it's always optional. Say, for example, in 2011, when the socio-economic caste census was taken, SEC, when during the UPA time, that was not coming under 1948 Census Act. So though they did find out the social status and economic status, which means caste and economic status, they did not release it, and it was not mandatory for the citizens to give their caste data. So that report is also not released because there was a lot of incorrect information, absolutely unrelatable numbers as such in terms of caste. So the governments have not released it. So in this case, nobody knows what is the actual number of any caste for that matter. And that's why even if some caste census is taken in some state, for example, I'll give you an example because I'm just going more into this detail because people should know why this is not happening, because it's easy for everybody to demand a caste census. People who are pro, anti, everybody says that do a caste census, we'll know what are the numbers so we can give. Karnataka did a caste census, and to their shock, 3 governments did not release the report. The Siddaramaiah government did not release, Kumaraswamy government did not release, and the BJP government, which is in power, also has not released the report. Simply because 2 powerful communities, we all know the 2 politically powerful communities in Karnataka.
Okkaligas and Lingayats.
They thought they'll be a huge number, or they'll form the bulk of the population. But the leak from the report showed that the SCs were actually the biggest single block community, and then the Muslims and the Okkaligas and the Lingayats were not, the numbers were not as per their expectations or as per the narrative that has been set for 20-30 years. So none of the 3 governments released the caste census report because they know the moment they release it, these communities will lose the power or the political power, and they don't want to do it. So they did not release it. This is what will happen in Tamil Nadu. This is what will happen in any state, because the moment you do a caste census, there will be at least 1 or 2 caste alone or communities who will be upping their population, and most of the other communities, caste, who have been upwardly mobile in terms of, say, economic status or education, or they've been in urban areas, obviously their population numbers have come down, and hence their numbers would have fallen down compared to what it was, say, 50 years back or so. So even in Tamil Nadu, if they demand a caste census, even if the government does a caste census, they will not release it, because all these 3-4 powerful communities, their numbers will not look like what they are expecting. So caste census is out of the way. So hence, what the commission actually did basis for the EWS, they also went in search of data because they did not have data. So actually, this was done by the UPA government, the Sino Commission. The UPA government appointed it, and the pre-work for it was done by Narasimha Rao government and Vajpayee government. So we all know Narasimha Rao tried, after the Mandal agitations and everything that happened, Narasimha Rao and the 69% reservation by Tamil Nadu government, Narasimha Rao tried the 10% EWS, but it was struck down in the Indra Sawhney judgment because there was no constitutional amendment that was brought in, and hence it was struck down. So, and then as a continuation of that, the Vajpayee government also appointed a study of the economic status of the general category. And then what happened? The UPA government actually appointed a commission, and they did this work. And when they went for data, they took the NSSO data, which is the National Sample Survey Organization, which comes under the Ministry of Statistics. So they use the sample data given by that organization. They do the sample on a periodic basis. So the commission took that, and as per the numbers in that, the OCs constitute 30% of the population in India. So the general category constitute 30% of the population in India. And in Tamil Nadu, they build a narrative that it's 3%, but actually in the rest of the country, it's 30%. As per this, and you have a substantial scheduled caste, scheduled tribe number, and then the OBCs, so it adds up to 100. So this 30%, when they found out the actual economic status of the OCs and the OBCs after a particular period in time in our history, there is negligible difference in terms of land holding, there's not much of difference between OBCs and general category. In terms of per capita income, there's not much of difference between OBCs and general category. In terms of education, similarly, the similar status. So especially in terms of economic parameters, there's not much difference between OBCs and general category. The SCs, STs alone are lagging far behind. So that's why the Sinha Commission also recommended, and UPA was also ready to do this, because and all the regional parties all over India, the so-called social justice parties, like how Tamil Nadu, DMK, ADMK are there, say Lalu Prasad's party, Akhilesh Yadav, Mayawati, Mamata Banerjee, Naveen Patnaik, Jagan Reddy, KCR, your Pawars of the world, the Chautalas, everybody, they agreed to it and they voted for it because they know that the situation of general category in the entire country is not that great. And that's why you have these agitations. We saw the Patel agitations, Maratha agitations cropping up. So that's why that's the actual picture. So in Tamil Nadu alone, it is different because as per Sinha Commission, the number that was given was 5 to 6% OC population in Tamil Nadu. Even in Kerala, it's substantial. That's why Kerala implemented EWS, but they tweaked the parameters. They did not agree to 8 lakh annual income. They did not agree to 5 acres. So they reduced it, and they have also implemented. The OC population, Kerala is high. The Nayars come under that. The Syrian Christians come under that. So Christian Muslim population is high. So some of the communities in that come under OC population, and hence Kerala is duty bound to implement that. So in Tamil Nadu, as you said, we do not know the actual numbers. There has been mass migration. The actual people who are left in Tamil Nadu, there are communities, there are groups of people, there are families who actually deserve this. But the problem is the non-Brahminical OC population is there, right? The 70 out of the 79 communities, there are the rest 78 communities. What has happened is some of them have been co-opted by DMK in terms of, say, some of the ministers. If you see some of the powerful ministers, in fact, I think 6 to 7 ministers actually come from these 76 of the, or 3 or 4 of these 79 communities. A sect of Mudaliar, a sect of Naidu, a sect of Velalas, like that. So 6 or 7 DMK current service.
Yeah.
Also. So 6 or 7 ministers come from these 3-4 communities which are actually in OC. But then what has happened is they've got the political power, and as I said, some of these communities they easily get a BC certificate or an MBC certificate, and hence they are not coming out in the streets to protest. And hence the only voice that is voicing out and vouching or asking for this reservation or even protesting, at least on social media or in TV studios or in digital media, is the Brahmin community, because they don't have a voice or they don't have a representation in this government. And hence that's the problem. So that's the fundamental problem. And hence some of these communities who are otherwise amicable with the OC communities, even they are against this because they also fear a loss of power or an erosion of power if this happens into the government machinery, which they do not want. See, that's the fundamental, that was one of their goals 100 years ago, that the 80% of representation that the Brahmins are having in government, the so-called 80%, even at that time I don't know if it was 80%, the so-called 80% of jobs that are taken by the Brahmins should not be there, and after 100 years they have almost made it negligible, 1 or 2%. So they don't want it to again improve to 10%, and they fear that. So that's the whole agenda behind this, and that's why if you see ADMK, DMK, PMK, VCK, all these parties come behind DMK in this, and otherwise say a party like PMK otherwise do not spew anti-Brahmin hatred. PMK or the 1 years on their own do not indulge in that. But when it comes to reservation, they are very, very strong proponents of the same Dravidian narrative, OBC reservation, support and fighting for OBC reservation and against EWS reservation. So that's why it is. Otherwise, the party as such, PMK is not virulently anti-Brahmin as, say, a DMK or a VCK is in Tamil Nadu.
Well, the other interesting thing in all this thing is, I feel sometimes it's a storm in the teacup, because the reservations can be only applied where? In government jobs. And there are not many government jobs going around. Already the bureaucracy is bloated. The pensions and salaries is becoming the biggest expense item in any state's budget as well as the center's budget. So, I mean, we are all talking this till the cows come home, but actual effect is not there, except what happens is there is a hatred towards a particular community. That doesn't go away. I mean,
yes,
this is the reality we have.
Yes. That's why they use this. As you said rightly, and as I also know, in Tamil Nadu, this will not have much of an impact because the population as such is low, and the economically weaker section will be much lesser than compared to other states. And that's why there's not push from other communities. The other 78 communities, there's no push. And hence, actually speaking, on ground, this will not have much of an effect, and probably even the Brahmins will not be much bothered. They will want to come out of this EWS status as such. They will want to earn more than 8 lakhs per annum. They will want to own a bigger house as such to not be under this bracket, but actually on their own come out of this bracket. So that will be anybody's goal, right? Any human's progressive goal will be that I need to earn more, I need to own a good house, I need to own some property as such. So if that is going to be a progressive path, how does this narrative help us? That they caught a tiger's tail 100 years back, this anti-Brahmin tiger's tail, and they are not able to leave it. So that's what they think is uniting them. That's the only point of unifying factor for them. Say anti-Brahmin related to anti-Sanskrit, related to anti-Hindi, related to anti-Aryan, related to anti-North, resulting in anti-center. Today it's BJP. 20 years back it was Indira Gandhi and Nehru and Rajiv Gandhi's. So that's the narrative that they've built. And in fact, off air, a DMK leader told me this, boss, you cannot expect us to give up this narrative. We caught I am using that person's phrase. We caught a tiger's tail at that time, and if we leave this, then we don't have politics to do. So off air, he told me this. So that's the reality as such. So this is the problem. Yeah.
And yet they have no trouble taking on Brahmin brides.
Yeah, for that they need that so-called Aryan blood and so-called Brahmin blood, and they have no qualms. It's only with the Brahmin male that they have a problem, and it's the Brahmin male that they fear who will come and intrude or take up their power or positions in terms of bureaucracy or government or ministership or MLAs or MPs. So that's the problem, and it helps them build this narrative, which is a fake narrative that the Brahmins had for centuries enslaved us, and hence we are coming out of it. These communities that denied education. These communities are denied jobs. I just have two questions for this. What sort of education was denied to these communities? What sort of education was denied to these communities? And they're talking about the denial in education, denial of educational opportunities, and hence we need reservation in education. Say, for example, even for argument's sake, if their argument of Vedic education was denied, they are not taking reservation in Vedic education today. They are taking reservation in the so-called secular education introduced by the British. So who stopped all these communities from enrolling in British schools or missionary schools or even national schools post 75 in 1880, 1890, when the first set of presidency colleges and schools were set up in different presidencies? Brahmins were not running those institutions, government institutions. Hindus were not running. The Britishers were running it, or the missionaries were running it. And then when the other schools started, it was the non-Brahmin communities, the rich zamindars and landowners, and the businessmen who were funding and sponsoring these schools and colleges. So if at that point nobody denied an educational opportunity to them, stating that you're not a Brahmin and hence you're not supposed to study this English, physics, maths, history, and geography. Nobody denied, right? Similarly, the government jobs. It was the British who were running the government. And did any Brahmin deny a job to any of these communities? No, it was the British who were running. So you had all the liberties in the world to apply. Similarly, then from 1920s, it was a Justice Party which was running the government. Only in 37 for a few years, Rajaji's government was there. So did the Justice Party, when they were running the government, deny government jobs to these communities? So where did Brahmins come in and deny education and jobs to the same education and jobs that they are asking reservation for? So this kind of an argument they are making, and they're getting away with it. We were denied education, denied jobs, and hence we need reservation in education and jobs. Boss, you were not denied educational opportunities in this kind of education. You were not denied the opportunities to apply for jobs in this kind of jobs. So whom are you faulting now for this? So this is the narrative that they have been talking from 1940s, 50s, 60s, and they've been able to create a vote bank. And hence to satisfy that vote bank, today they are talking the same narrative in TV channels, in press conferences, on social media.
And there is also one other unfortunate consequence because of this. Because of this Brahmin hatred, what has happened is, historically, let's go back to 1830 when Macaulay's, put a gate and said all the Vedic Pathshalas, the universities, Gurukul system is completely abolished. You are going to learn English. So what had happened was most of these Vedic schools had a mix of teachers and a mix of students. And you go back and read Dharampal's A Beautiful Tree, you will see that region after region, because those days there were no states like Odisha or Andhra Pradesh. They just say that, Tulu speaking region, Telugu speaking region, Tamil speaking region. You look at it uniformly, the highest percentage of students there were what they qualified. These are all British writers. I mean, Dharampal has just put a compendium
Thomas Munro report. So Dharampal quotes Thomas Munro report, and exactly even in Madras Presidency he quotes the number of non-Brahmin communities who are educated, male, female, and as per community, caste-wise, language-wise, and it is all on record. So Thomas Munro's report is what Dharampal also quotes.
So what had happened was, once these things got disbanded, the one place where you found Brahmins was teachers. They were the teachers who were, you found them in primary schools, you found them in middle schools, high schools, and also in universities. Now, the Tamil Nadu government has done a fine job of eradicating them, and there are a few remaining remnants, and they get so hounded. I have examples. I know these people. I've talked to them. And there is not much you can do because the system is so biased and so, there is no recourse. So forget about it. The only thing that the option they have is to just go find an equivalent job somewhere else where you're not going to be discriminated. So
some of the best Tamil teachers and professors are from the Brahmin community in Tamil Nadu in the last 100 years. So the kind of service that they've done for Tamil, the language, is unparalleled in terms of, say, imparting education, carrying forward the legacy of Tamil to the masses in primary schools, in high schools, in colleges, in universities. Is unparalleled. But all of that has been diminished. And one more point, when you spoke about the double speak and hypocrisy, the another important point which I've spoken in debates also, and I want your viewers also to know, the hypocrisy and double standard of DMK when it comes to Brahmin and non-Brahmin in terms of their politics, and how they easily game the system or easily manipulate, is that whenever the choice in terms of political power has been between a Brahmin and a non-Brahmin, shockingly or surprisingly, from whichever side you see, they have taken the side of a Brahmin. Starting from the president's contest, say in V.V. Giri versus Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy. They supported the Brahmin V.V. Giri against Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, who was a Dravidian according to them. V.V. Giri is an Aryan Brahmin. Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy is a Dravidian non-Brahmin. But they supported V.V. Giri, who was Indira Gandhi's candidate, who was again a Brahmin. Indira Gandhi is a Brahmin. They sided with Rajaji, a Brahmin, to defeat Kamaraj in 1967. Today they appropriate Kamaraj and says Kamaraj carried out Periyar's orders only in his government. Then why did you align with the Brahmin Rajaji to defeat Kamaraj? Cut to 1971. They again ally with the Brahmin Indira Gandhi to defeat Kamaraj and Rajaji again. In 1971, they ally with Indira Gandhi. Karnataka allies with Indira Gandhi in 1971, a Brahmin lady. Well, again, you defeat Kamaraj. So the person whom they have never accepted or allied with in their entire course is Kamaraj. And today they appropriate Kamaraj as a beacon of Dravidian model. Cut then again, when it came to 1980, the Janasangh, the erstwhile Janasangh, which merged into Janata Party, when they put up Jagjeevan Ram as a prime minister, and the same Vajpayee and Advani put up Jagjeevan Ram as a prime minister candidate. Karnataka allies with Indira Gandhi and supports Indira Gandhi for prime minister. So they oppose a Dalit prime minister candidate for a Brahmin prime minister candidate. Again, then they cut to 1990s. Whom do they ally with? They ally with Vajpayee in 1999. And then cut to the next presidential contest that happens when northeastern tribal Christian P.A. Sangmas, propped up by a Brahmin Jayalalitha as a presidential candidate. They go and support a Brahmin Pranab Mukherjee. DMK supports Pranab Mukherjee. Why can't you support tribal Christian P.A. Sangma? So I can quote examples after example. There are more presidents similarly whom they have supported against even today. So the last presidential context, why didn't they support Draupadi Murmu? Why do they have to support Yashwant Sinha, who's from a forward community, who's a Kaisa, who's from a forward community? Why didn't they support Draupadi Murmu? So when it comes to power, for the cost of power, they will throw their this anti-Brahmin, anti-Aryan, anti-Hindi, every narrative out of the window, because they want to grab power and grab positions. So this is not today. I'm talking history from 1950s, 60s till today. When it comes to a clear-cut Brahmin versus non-Brahmin, or a Dravidian versus an Aryan, so-called Aryan in their books, tribal versus a forward community candidate, they've always chosen to be on the side of this forward community candidate, or a Brahmin or an Aryan, against a Dravidian or a tribal or anybody from a subaltern community or a Dalit. So this is their politics for you.
Well put, sir. And we've also seen between the two Dravida parties, the ADMK is a little bit less virulent towards the Brahmins, perhaps because they had a Brahmin chief minister for a long time. And
even before that, MGR was not this virulent, and he's the one who
was a Brahmin, sir. His wife was a Brahmin.
Yeah.
I am just amazed at the hypocrisy of these leaders. I mean, it's astounding. And anyway, so the point I think what we are trying to make is you always need to have a target. And there's, unfortunately, in this case, it happens to be this hapless Brahmin who is literally, they don't need any encouragement. They are looking out. They don't want to be in Tamil Nadu anymore. And the point here is, it is Tamil Nadu's loss. It is, you have 40,000 temples. There is a lot of Vedas in there. There's a lot of culture in there. There's a lot of knowledge in there. And they can't take their temples with them. They can move themselves out.
Yeah.
They can't take the temples with them. What happened? Culture loses.
And that's their agenda, right? You drive Brahmins out, you drive the communities that are associated with the temples out, or you convert those communities associated with the temples out, and the temples get stranded. They don't have anybody to take care of. And then the communities get either converted or wiped out, and then the temples go into its system of decay. So that's what is happening, right? So that's their agenda that suits their breaking India narrative, their evangelical agenda. That's what they want. That's what they've been trying to do, and partly successful. But I don't know whether they'll be fully successful. I think we should not allow them to be fully successful.
Absolutely. No, I think the big picture here is Srinivasan. I saw I think Bihar or UP. There were placards again saying that Brahmins are the reason for all our troubles. See, that is the other problem. These people plant the seed in Tamil Nadu. Yeah. Slowly, it works itself up through other places. And these things, these are all, there is no proof. Nowhere has this been, documented. There's only one community was, discriminating. You had a problem. There are divisions in the society created, and these divisions were exploited for hundreds of years. So rather than understanding that the underlying fundamental is Sanatana Dharma, we are looking at the wrong places to take out our frustrations on. That's my 2 cents. Now, with your permission, we can take some questions now, BR.
Sure.
Can we have some questions, please? Oh, no questions. Wonderful. So I think people are in agreement with what we are saying. The way forward, like you said, you should not be discriminating on any one basis. In fact, I will give you what is coming down the road from the United States. There is the squad, which is the one that always makes a lot of noise here, is actually getting beefed up from 4 to 6 to now, I think 10 people in Congress and Senate. And they are going to come and at India with, even more vigor, because they feel that they have been vindicated. For some time, they were lying low because the Hindus were fighting back with data. And this will start reverberating in India also. And how India stands up to it, plus India stand to stay neutral in the Russian-Ukraine conflict, that's also going to have some problems. Long story short, the next year or so is going to be turbulence. And all I can say is that I think we should forget about what a particular person's background is. Treat that person as a human being. Yes. What is good, what is not good, right? That is a much easier way to lead your life rather than trying to find out, oh, I belong to this and you belong to this and this and this and so. I don't know if that day will ever come. I leave it to you to give the concluding remarks and then we'll call it a show.
Yes, so as I said, I think with regards to this particular topic, in Tamil Nadu, I don't think we are going to see light at the end of the tunnel very soon, unless there's going to be a regime change, which is not going to come anytime soon. But in the rest of the country, this is a very, very welcome signal and a good signal that has come in. And I see not just in terms of education. So the judgment as such, sorry, I didn't touch upon it. I'm taking in the concluding remarks. The judgment, I think there's a very important paragraph in the judgment. I think it's page 152 or so, or 126. So it talks about, it defines actually what is a weaker section. All these years, we have always seen a weaker section in terms of the social angle, in terms of the community angle. So actually the judgment actually says that it's not just somebody who's socially or educationally or even economically backward who's supposed to be a weaker section, but in terms of any other bucket or bracket that they come in, they can be termed as a weaker section. So I see that there is going to be opening up a lot of avenues in terms of other kinds of affirmative action. Say, for example, if this set of reservation has actually, we saw the first set in creamy layer that came in, which has actually helped in terms of identifying the poor and actually benefiting them, rather than the rich cornering all the reservation benefits. So next, as a next step, if I see that the urban reserved community, reserved folks in urban areas are actually getting benefited more than the rural folks, then probably another one can come in terms of an inner quota, say that rural students or rural people should have more numbers. In Tamil Nadu, they call it a ul ida odikede, or a subset of the quota. Say, for example, if there is 27% for OBCs, in that 15% will be reserved for rural students. Similarly, 15% will be reserved for people, say, for example, I'm just throwing up numbers, for studying in their own mother tongue. 15% will be reserved for women. So like that. So I think it opens up a lot of avenues, the definition of weaker section. So actually this should be the first step in taking us the reservation as an affirmative action towards actually benefiting the real marginalized and weaker sections, rather than the rich and the urban folks and the elitists cornering all the benefits. So in that way, reservation is a good affirmative tool, but in India, it does not work completely properly because it is not being implemented, or it does not benefited the actual folks who need it. The fault lines are still there. As you said, the fault lines are there. There is no point in hiding it. So actually to cover up the fault lines, we need to actually extend this reservation as an affirmative tool to actual beneficiaries, which will happen through some of these avenues that are opening up. Say now education, now economics has come in. Then let's talk about gender. Then let's talk about rural. Now the new education policy, let's talk about people who are studying in mother tongue. Things like that, I think it should open up. So that's my way of looking at using reservation as an affirmative action to bring up the downtrodden in India.
Thank you very much, Srinivasan. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Fully 1 in 2 of you are still not subscribing to our channel. We love the fact that you keep coming back to us, but we would like to make your job easy for you. If you subscribe, you get notified whenever we put up a new video. And Srinivasan, thank you so much, sir, for taking time out from your busy schedule. And we'll be back again bright and early tomorrow to talk about a very important topic with Corporator Uma Anandan. We are going to talk about what is happening, the politics of Chidambaram Temple. There is a lot going on there. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. So do join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. And Srinivasan, thank you once again, sir. Namaskaram.
Thank you. My pleasure, sir. Namaskaram.